Hello everybody, and welcome back to my sunroom on this beautiful, very cold day here in East Tennessee. It feels like it's about 16 degrees today, and the wind chills are supposed to get down to about, well, single digits tonight. So yes, we've had a huge cold spell, and I thought this is going to be a really pretty day to hang out in my sunroom where it's warm and just show you all what's blooming and spiking. This is my brother's Red Caribe. Beautiful saturation of color on this one, and she's going to have a gorgeous spike this year. So she's just starting to bloom out right now. Gorgeous color. And here are the blooms on my foul brother Pirate King. This is one of the most prolifically blooming plants that I've ever had. Blooms beautifully and profusely every single year. I've had this one in my collection for 5 years, and it has this beautiful, long, graceful spike. As you see, it just keeps going. So this is a very vigorous grower, very vigorous blooming plant. And here's beautiful foul magic art. As you see, she's got two sides to her. She's got these beautiful individually painted blooms over here, and then she's got these most unique blooms here. Look at this bloom. Half this type of bloom and half this type of bloom. She's a harlequin foul. She has not done this until this year, and I've had this plant for 5 years. So I just think that magic art is just so charming. One of my favorite orchids of all time. And let me show you the full spread of these blooms. It blooms vigorously every year, and she's already elongated her spikes in 2 different places. So I'm going to have even more blooms probably this time next month. What an awesome plant. And here's the first bloom on my foul Sogo Lawrence Tahiti Sunset. And you can see why they called it sunset. Look at the center of that bloom, that gorgeous magenta pink. This is absolutely a beautiful plant. This is one of my all-time favorites. And I've got 2 secondary spikes on this plant plus 2 primary spikes. So when this one blooms, it's going to just be gorgeous. This is the earliest that this plant has bloomed for me, and I believe I've had this one in my collection for 5 years. So simply beautiful. And here's a close-up of my Dendrobium Burana Jade Fantasy number 9, and it is a green with purple. It's really not the colors that I'm seeing here on my camera. The lip of this one is so dark that it's almost black, and it kind of skews the color, but it's still just so very beautiful. I capture the color better as the sun's going down like it is right now. So a friend of mine wanted a close-up of this, so here we go. Burana Jade Fantasy. Gorgeous Dendrobium. And a fan favorite, Foul Legato Peloric. This is one section of her blooms. She has about 3 times this many. I've never seen so many Foul Legato blooms on this plant ever. Each bloom is unique in that the ruffles are different on each bloom. Some of the blooms are less ruffly, some of them are more, but I love this plant. As you see, it lights up at sunset. It's just absolutely beautiful. Love this plant. And here is my foul buddy. I moved him in here yesterday right before the big cold snap. I figured out that sometimes when my fouls are just starting to bloom, if there is a cold snap like what we're having right now, if I move them into the kitchen just temporarily until the temperatures get back to normal, I don't have as much bud blast. So he's in here right now. And this is actually Phal Speciosa times Equestris rosea. This is one that my daughter picked out about 12 years ago. It was a cold day. I told her if she could go find a box for it, we would bring it home, and here he is. So I'm so glad I have this plant. He's one of my favorites. Here is my Phal Sogo Red Poker, and you can see why they call it red. Actually, when the sun is not hitting this, it is so deep purple that it's almost black. But look what happens when the sun hits it. It really truly turns red, and it has this beautiful white edging on it. Gorgeous little plant. And Phal Sogo Vivian is just starting to bloom out. Last year she had a lot of bud blast because she was just starting to bloom. It was about February 1st. We had a big cold spell, and I lost many of her buds and blooms due to that. So yes, she's in my kitchen too and blooming beautifully. This is going to be a gorgeous bloom cycle for this plant. And I have to share these beautiful blooms with you as well. Several of you have asked me if my Thanksgiving cacti are blooming again, and yes, they are. We obviously just get exactly the right kind of weather for these to bloom twice in a year. So I think that these are just so beautiful. I'm so glad they rebloomed for me. And of course, Big Red is still in bloom. He will probably be in bloom from now until Easter. The buds just keep popping out on this plant. Most of the other blooms fell around the 1st of this month, and he's starting to rebloom again. So he's absolutely huge. He's about 3 feet high and about 5 feet wide. So this is a huge cactus. So I know you all enjoy looking at him. I enjoy sharing all these beautiful red Valentine's Day blooms now. So just a beautiful, vigorous plant. And before I end the video, I will give you a close-up of my beautiful Dendrobium Soleil champou. She's also another fan favorite. And I would love to say the blessing over you all, your families, and your plants today. May the Lord bless you and protect you. Make His face shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord turn His face towards you and give you and your families His shalom peace. Thank you all so much for watching, and make it a great day.